Okay. Hi everyone. So today we'll be implementing the Radix Sort in Java using lists. So let's proceed. So far we have just prompted the user to enter the length of the string which we need to sort, and then added the elements accordingly. So here you can see we have prompted the user to enter the length of the string, and then we have entered the list, the total number of elements. We have added the elements accordingly. So let's proceed now. As we know that Radix sort deals with the technical term buckets for sorting the elements. Also, it is based on the key concept of the number of digits that is present in the largest element of the given array list that we need to sort. So our first step will be to get the largest value in the given array list. So before that, let's declare our variable first. So count largest digit is equals to digits. And so here I'm writing a function named getDigits, inside which I'll be placing the largest value to get the digits of. So since we know that collections is a utility class that is present inside java.util package, and it defines several utility methods for collection objects. So here we will use the max method of for getting the largest value in the collection, as list is the child interface of collection, so it will be applicable to use here. So let me write the max function with the use of collections utility framework. All right, so now you can see the highlighted part will return the largest value in the given array list. So let's write our function now. Now we have the largest value from our given array list, so let's work on finding out the total number of digits that is present in this largest value. So let's write a recursive function to get the total number of digits. Digit. So uh, now we won't be passing the same value again, as we are adding plus 1 in return. You can see there we are adding plus 1 in return, so we won't be passing the same value again, so we have to decrement its value by its 1/10. So so now this get digits function is done. So we have the total number of digits in the largest element that is present inside our list. Alright, so now let's go with our logical part, where we will be sorting the array list. So list of on final list will be equals to, let me write a function for that. Get sorted order of list. So inside which I will be passing two arguments, given list and the largest digit. Now let me write this function here. Alright, so let's start with our logical part now. So let's declare a current decimal place value. Variable which this is now this variable which I've used, current decimal place. It is used for iterating around the decimal places. So now I'll be writing the while loop for iterating. Now we will loop as many times as the largest digit to get the final output. So let me write the digit till digit is greater than 0. So digit, digit minus minus and current is plus plus. Alright, so you must be wondering why I've written this create new buckets. Now this is simply a function which will return, this will create a list of buckets which will contain the values as per their decimal places value. So I've just initialized the buckets list in this. You can see I've used a empty array list and then I've initialized it with 10 buckets, because since we know that the total number of digits can be from 0 to 9. So for each and every index I've used a separate bucket. So now let's write our logical part here. Let's continue writing our logical part here. So list of long temporary buckets equals to create new buckets. Now we have a list of empty buckets, 10 empty buckets. Now we will iterate through the decimal places for each values and store them according to the appropriate buckets. That's what we do in this according to the Radix sort. So let's take a variable divide by to divide the values to get their decimal places. That's equals to, so we'll be using the math utility class and current decimal place. Alright, so let's take let's take a temporary list which will be modified again and again. So let me use this temporary list named temp list is equals to, let me initialize it with the our original given list. So now we can update this temporary list and then we can assign it to the given list after each and every cycle. Now if you remember, this while loop is for getting the cycles, the total number of cycles this while loop represents. So if the, let's say we have a list which have a lot of elements and the largest element is 1000. So the largest elements have total number of digits as 4. 1000 contains 4. So this loop will be iterating 4 times to get our list sorted completely. So let's move further. Let's use the list iterator to iterate through this temporary list. So now it will return, now this has next will return true till the next value is present inside the list, and it will return false after the last element is also iterated. So now inside the while loop we will be taking the long current value current value as let's typecast it to long, and then list iterator dot next. So now this current value will hold the currently iterated value for our list, for our temporary list. So like first element and second element, one by one it will be iterating through it. So now let's write our logical part here. Temporary buckets dot get inside get, use typecast it to int, and then current value divide by greater modulo 10. Add current value. Now let's have a look what this will do is, and just now it will iterate through the current element, running 10th decimal place, and will place inside the respective bucket. For example, let me use a comment box here. For example, let's say we have a value 1 2 3 4, let's say. So in the first cycle it will take the last digit by dividing it by the power of 10 to the power of 0. You can see the current decimal place points to 0. So our our divide by value will become math 10 to the power of 0, so it will become 1. So 1 2 3 4 becomes 1 2 3 4 divided by 1, and then modulo 10. So what is 1 2 3 4 divided by 1 modulo 10? It will bring us 4. So after the first iteration of cycle, the value 1 2 3 4 will go inside the fourth bucket. It will go inside the fourth bucket. So this is what this functionality is doing. Similarly, after on the second cycle, when this current decimal place will become 1, right? We can see I've highlighted here. So the divide by will become math 10 to the power of 1. So it will be dividing it by 10 this time. So 1 2 3 4 divided by 10 modulo 10 will bring us 3. So in the next cycle, the value 1 2 3 4, it will be placed inside third bucket. Similarly, after the third cycle, it will get divided by 100, and there our answer will become 2. So 1 2 3 4 will be placed inside second bucket, like this and so on. So this is what this functionality is doing. So all right, meanwhile, all right, so you can see that uh, for this example I have used the input 170 45 75 10 40 90 802 24 2 and 66. This is the input which I'll be using for this example. So you can have a look that this is our given list 170 45 75. Now what will happen after first cycle is it will take the first decimal from the right. So for 170 it will take the first decimal, which is 0, right? It will divide it by 1, and then it will get the last index value, so which is 0. So 170 will be placed inside our 0th indexed bucket, right? Here you can see 170 is placed inside 0th index bucket. Similarly 45, for 45 it will take the 5th indexed bucket. 45, it is placed now inside 5th indexed bucket. Here you can see. Similarly 75 is also placed inside 5th indexed bucket. Similarly 1040 again inside 0th indexed bucket. 90 again in 0th indexed bucket. 802 in second indexed bucket, and so on. So now after this first cycle, we need to update our list. So our updated list will be, we have to iterate through our buckets from 0th index till 9th index and from bottom to top. So our updated list will be becoming like 170, then 1040, then 90. You can see here, then 802 and 2, then 24, then 45, 75, and 66. This is our updated list after first cycle, right? So remember this this updated list. So let me show you our second cycle. Now this was our given list, which has come from our first cycle, if you remember. So now again we will be doing the placing the elements according to their respective buckets, but this time we will be taking the second element from the right, for each and every values. Like for 170 we will be taking the second decimal place, that is 7. So we'll be placing this 170 inside the 7th indexed bucket. So here you can see 170 is placed inside 7th indexed bucket, right? Similarly 1040, it will be placed inside 4th indexed bucket, and so on. Then again we'll be updating our list from 0th index bucket to 9th index bucket and from bottom to top. So here you can see 802, then 2, then 24, then 1040, 45, 66, 170, 75, 90. So so here you can see that after the second cycle also, this is our updated list. Now you must be wondering how many cycles will be there. So we have already told you that the largest element present inside this list is 1040. And how many digits does it contain? It contains 4 digits. So 4 cycles will be there. So after fourth cycle, completion of fourth cycle, we will be getting our sorted list. So have a look at the third cycle also now. Here now we'll be taking the third decimal place from the right for each and every element. So 802 will be placed inside 8th bucket. You can see here inside 8th bucket 802 is placed. Then the value 2, it will be placed inside 0th bucket as the third index from the right for 2 is 0. So it will be placed inside 0th bucket. Then 24, for 24 also it is 0. So it will be placed inside 0th index bucket. Now for 1040 also, the third decimal place value is 0. So it will be placed inside 0th index bucket. For 45 also it will be placed inside 0th bucket index. For 170, the third decimal place value is 1. So 170 will be placed inside first indexed bucket. And so similarly, after third cycle also we need to update our list. So again we'll be iterating from 0th index bucket to 9th index bucket, and our values will be taking from bottom to top. So 2, 24, 1040, 45, 66, 75, 90. So you can have a look. This is our updated list after third cycle. Now similarly, in the fourth and final cycle, we can again do uh, our sorting mechanism, where we'll be placing the fourth digit from the right for each and every element. So for 2 it will be 0, so it will be placed inside 0th index bucket. So all the elements except 1040, as the fourth decimal place value is 1 for 1040, so it will be placed inside the first indexed bucket. So rest all the elements will be placed inside this. So you can have a look that all the elements are now by default sorted. So final list, which will be, we will again be iterating from 0th element bucket to 9th element bucket, and then we'll be placing it from bottom to top. So it will be from bottom to top. So here is our final updated list: 2, 24, 45, 66, 75, 90, 170, 802, and 1040. So now, so let's come back to our coding part. So now this given list that needs to be updated after every cycle. So let's clear this list first, and then we will put the values accordingly. So let's clear this list. Given list dot clear. Now again, it is a collection framework, another handy utility. Clear. clear method which will empty our given list. So our given list is now empty. So now let's point out to our sorted data so that we can clarify our results after each cycle. Remember this, that while digit greater than 0 is nothing but it is the cycle for which we are performing our sorting. So now let me place each and every values inside given list for our final sorting values. So now let's do a simple system dot after this one place one cycle. So I'm here printing the values after each and every cycle so that it becomes easier for us to understand. So since uh, since we know that for the outer elements we are taking 10 because we know the value, right? We know that we'll be taking the total number of buckets as 10 buckets for the digits from 0 to 9. But for the inside each and every bucket, how many elements are present during runtime, we have no idea. So we'll be doing temporary buckets dot get of I dot size. Size, right? So then j plus plus. So after sorting of the cycle now, but we will be simply let me print out this values first. Print out the values first. Temporary buckets dot get of I dot get of j. Now this is our value. We need to, and now we will be adding this value inside our given list. The same value which I'm gonna show you after each and every cycle. This is I'm gonna add it. Now since this is updated given list was empty as we executed the clear command for it, now this list get updated after every cycle. Hence we have added the elements one by one, which the elements bucket for the elements from bucket number 0 to 9. So our given list variable now gets updated again after each and every cycle. So finally we can put a border after each and every cycle to properly differentiate between the results of each and every cycle. All right. I'm simply putting a border so that it will become easier for us to have a look after each and every cycle what our value looks like. So in the end we can simply return our given list, which is the updated list. So here in the end also we can do a system.out println of final list. All right, so now let's execute this and compare this with our results that have been come. So let me simply run this. So we'll be using this given input so that it becomes easier for us to compare it. It takes a bit time. Well, let me after fourth cycle. So this is the value after first cycle. So we will be comparing it and check our results after each and every cycle. Alright. So if we enter the length of the list that we need to sort is total number of length is 9, total number of elements. So now let's put the elements one by 170, 45, and 75, 1040, 90, 802, 24, 2, and 66. So let's so you can have a look that after one cycle this is our list. So let's compare it with our actual manual method. So you can have a look that after first cycle the updated list is 170, 1040, 90, 802. Let's check whether it is right or wrong. So 170, 1040, 90, 802, 24, 2, 24, 45, 75, and 66. 2, 24, 45, 75, and 66. So this is after the first cycle. So after the second cycle, let's have a look at the results. So it will be 802, 22, 24, 1040. So it's 802, 2, 24, 1040, then 45, 66, 170, 75, and 90. 45, 66, 170, 75, and 90. So you can simply compare it with the each and every cycle. So it's working fine. So you can have a look after the fourth cycle, the list is completely sorted after the fourth cycle, and this is our final result. So this shows that the code is working fine. So that's it, guys. Thanks a lot for your time. Do like it if you understood and share it to your all your techie friends. Goodbye. Have a nice day.